All right, we'll call the meeting to order. Dr. Reichert will lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
And the flag is behind. Don't mind standing. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. And we will start with our students of the month, and I will give Mrs. Watkins the mic. This is for those people watching at home, by the way.
Okay, Mrs. Leitzel, could you come on up? Mrs. Leitzel will be presenting her Students of the Month today. Her first student of the month is Piper Gamble. Piper, can you come on up, honey?
I chose Piper as my student this year just because she has worked so hard, always, every day, has a great attitude, happy to help in any way she can. She's diligent at her work, always wants to do better, always wants to get things correct. So I just appreciate that kind of attitude every day, and glad to give you an award for your effort. So I appreciate it very much. You have words to say? These are my students from computer science. They always do a great job. We do coding in computer science. We do keyboarding. We do a lot of Google Slides, learning how to use Google Slides and Docs and things like that so that they're ready to go on to grades where they have to use that more. But they also, we try to slide in some science. And so this year they did a great science fair project together. And so I just thought they put in a lot of extra effort. The night presentation to show it, they demonstrated class. They just went out of their way to do an excellent job. And so I wanted to award you guys. They always do a good job in class too with coding and keyboarding. They're always doing their best. I'm walking around and checking and see who's doing what they're supposed to be doing, and they're always on time. I always appreciate that very much. So.
Thank you.
And I'll deviate a little bit from the agenda since Mrs. Leitzel is here tonight. We would like to honor her, even though she can't quit yet and retire. She's got to go another month and 2 days, I think, just about. But Carol, come on up. You don't? Okay. How many years do you have? And how many years with Hamilton? 49 and 41 years with Hamilton. She loves coming every day, she said, and we appreciate you. You've done a wonderful job for our students here at Hamilton, and I know the board appreciates your dedication to us, and you will be missed. And I know, that you and Pastor Dave will have a great retirement together. But thank you very much.
All right, I know we have a change to the agenda. What? I'm sorry? Oh, yeah, sorry. Hey, you, before we start the board meeting, Mrs. Watkins is going to take photos, and I don't think you guys probably want to hang around for a boring board meeting, so this is your time to exit if you want to exit. They're not really very exciting. You can stay if you want, but... Okay. Bill we have something to add to the agenda.
Yes, I had my board letter that we hired 3 teachers, and the last one, I couldn't think of her last name at home over the weekend. So I'll fill in the blank. It's Jana, and the last name is Schlosser. It's spelled Schlosser. And we will be hiring her as a first grade teacher. And she has 0 years of experience, but she is a little bit older. And we're happy to have her on board. So we'll add that to our consent agenda under personnel. Moving on to consent agenda, if
Yep.
that's okay.
Yep.
A, claims docket. Those are in your board packet. Approval of minutes. Personnel report with the one addition. And we have a resignations to Tanya Peters and also Jeff Stanner. And we had no receipt of funds for this month. So I'd recommend that you approve items A through D.
I'll second that.
Motion's been made and seconded. All is in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? So I'm going to back up just a minute here. Item 4, approval of the agenda after we made the change.
Sorry.
Just to be official here, let's just take a motion on the changed agenda.
I'll make a motion to approve the agenda with the change of adding Ms. Schlosser as first grade teacher. I'll second.
Motion's made and seconded. All is in favor? Aye. Opposed?
Thank you. I jumped the gun a little bit. And we will have all 3 of our new teachers with us at our next board meeting, correct, Mrs. Watkins? So you'll be able to meet them at the
Yes,
next.
that's correct.
Okay. Under new business, we have to approve a change to the Northeastern Indiana Special Ed Co-op contract. And I will tell you that the change is this. It's on page 9. A member corporation may rescind a withdrawal notice only one time within any 5-year period. What is happening is that we have corporations who are turning in letters to withdraw from the co-op, and then they have to do it by January 1, and they have to stay in the co-op an additional year. But then we have the same corporations doing it year after year. They're submitting a letter they're going to leave, but then they don't leave. And it puts us all in a tough spot for budgeting and for operational purposes. So the board, that board decided to make this change that you can only submit it once in 5 years, if that makes sense.
Yep.
And I support that. So that is the only change on this agreement. So I'd recommend your adoption. I'll answer any questions.
Need a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve the change in the contract for the Northeast Indiana Special Ed Co-op.
I'll second that.
Motion's made and seconded. All is in favor? Aye. Opposed?
Okay, the next item is the first reading of our wireless device prohibition. Thank you. Duh. I have not been drinking. Tongue-tied. You have this in your board packet, and what it basically is going to say is because of the change in the state law for 2026-27 school year, we have to make sure that students do not have their phones out from bell to bell. So from the time they get here until the time they leave, they cannot use their cell phone. Now, there are 7 exceptions to that, and I'd like to read those exceptions because those listening in might not understand. So this policy is not violated in the following circumstances. When the student has been given permission from a teacher to use a school-sanctioned or school-provided wireless device for educational purposes during the school day. B, the student is authorized to use the wireless device at an appropriate time during an emergency. C, the student's use of the wireless device is to manage the student's medical condition as documented by and pursuant to an order of a licensed healthcare provider. A lot have cell phones that monitor their sugar levels, so it's important they have that. D, the use by the student of the wireless device if it is part of the student's IEP or 504 plan. E, the use of the wireless device by the student is necessary for language translation when no school-managed device is available. F, the student uses an unobtrusive audio recording device for note-taking or personal learning assistance as long as the device captures only spoken word. Audio does not capture, store, or transmit images or video, is visible to the teacher when in use, is provided for inspection by school officials, and is used in a manner consistent with a recording audio provisions of state and federal laws. A recording made by such a device will not be used for a disciplinary, evaluative, or supervisory purpose against a student or an employee. So those are the exceptions to the rule, and we'll have to figure out how we're going to implement this. And we've had some conversations already with Mrs. Watkins and Mrs. Furness in terms of what that's going to look like for us. Students have lockers at the senior high level, junior, senior high level, so that's probably where they're going to end up, right, ladies? And then at the elementary level, that'll be a little more difficult for us, I think. You want any comments on that?
2nd through 5th grade have lockers as well in the elementary. So
Okay.
very rarely do we see students below that would have a cell phone.
Okay.
So same, those would be in their lockers as well.
So that's kind of what the plan is going forward. And again, this is from the state. This is not from us. Our current policy was that students could not have them in class, but they could use them during lunch and also during passing periods. So that's going to change. Our CTE students that go to Impact, for right now, Impact is going to allow them to use them on the bus and on their way to Impact and then turn them in once they get to Impact. Questions from the board? We're not looking for a motion tonight. This is first reading. So any comments or questions? I certainly can't do that good of a job. All right.
I'd like to add, Bill, so our primary or our intermediate students, those 3rd, 4th, and 5th graders that do have a cell phone, they do not have access to it bell to bell. So this won't be anything new for them moving into junior high.
Thank you. So if there are no other comments from the board, then we'll move to the next item on the agenda, and that is we had a discussion with you regarding virtual or synchronous learning, and we sent out a survey to staff and also to parents, and Mrs. Furness will give you the results.
So I have a copy coming down for everybody. Just kind of a quick look at the most important question. The survey itself was designed to poll staff and parents. Very few students took the survey, I think maybe 3 or 4. But the results that you're looking at, essentially all the yellows are in favor. So would you support the school implementing live virtual learning? Parents, 81 parents responded. 72% said yes. Staff, 52 responses, 86.5 said yes. You can see the students, only 3 responses. Overall, looking at all the responses we received, 138, we have 77.6 that said yes, they would. We did allow them to have some feedback if they were no or unsure what the feedback would be. I plugged in all of the feedback into ChatGPT to give me an overall kind of what was the consensus, what was the feedback saying. And the overall takeaway said, most families recognize the practical benefits of live virtual learning, especially for maintaining the school calendar. Successful implementation would require flexibility, clear expectations, age-appropriate approaches, and strong consideration of family logistics. So this was ultimately our first step, just to put the feelers out there to see how everybody felt. We had one extensive conversation and a couple little mini ones concerning it. So we really wanted to see where we were at before we started talking specifics. So I'm sure there are a lot of questions associated with it. And ultimately, any of these, I believe, any of the overall takeaway for the feedback that we received is something we will obviously address. How to be flexible with timelines, age appropriate approaches, clear expectations, all that good stuff would be ironed out clearly. Yeah, one of the big ones Mrs. Watkins stated is using this as something to be in our toolkit. I think we realized as an administrative team that this was a unique year with weather. This is probably not something we're going to see very frequently, hopefully for a long time. But it also taught us a lesson in the sense of having this as a possibility, not to replace all of the days we might have, just having this as a possibility. We all agree that we don't want this to be any more than 2 consecutive days if we do have a nasty week full of weather. So it would be ultimately a blend of the 3 e-learning days that we receive from the state, potentially implementing one of these live virtual instruction days, and then we would also plan to have some traditional snow days as well. So it wouldn't be 3 weeks back to back or something if we did see a crazy week. It's just something as a possibility to add to our toolkit.
Infrastructure wise, like from what, I mean, Kelly's take on it, I don't know if you guys have spoken to him at all. I mean,
He did talk to me today, and he said that during COVID, there was a problem with our Chromebooks here at Hamilton that the cameras did not all work. And I don't know, Julie, if you can remember back when you were in COVID days or not, but he was saying that we had quite a few computers that did not have the camera working, which would obviously be an issue. And I said, well, we need to do a test to see if that would still be an issue for us now. But that was one of the things that he said. In some of the parent comments, there was, what do? We don't have internet. We're going to run into that issue. And the other thing is that we need to be aware of, as you as a board, is that we got 4 waiver days today that I applied. So we only go to school this year 176 days. And if we didn't get those waivers, we would get out 4 days later than what we are, June 2nd being our last day. So if we go to synchronous learning or virtual learning, those waivers are no longer possible. So those would be thrown out. So that's one little negative, I guess, to consider. So if we had traditional snow days, those would be tacked on as days at the end of the year, like they are now.
One of the questions on the poll, just to address what Dr. Reichart said about the access to reliable technology, that was a question that was on the poll. 97.2% said that they have reliable access. So I think since COVID, more people have reliable internet access than before. So that is something that would still be a potential challenge, but in my eyes, definitely a manageable challenge.
The one thing that is concerning to me, which always happens with a survey, is that you get a limited response. And for those who don't have internet access, we're asking them to comment on internet. And so we had 81 parent responses, and I'm betting we probably have 200 to 225, 250 parents in the school possibly. So I'm looking at maybe 1/3 of our parents came back with a survey, but it was certainly available to everyone to respond back to. So I'm not sure how to handle that, but
I had a couple different parents over the many events that we've had since we sent the survey out say, well, I didn't really take it because it doesn't really matter. You know, they said, we trust you guys. We trust you guys to do what's right. So I feel like the people that did answer it, we sent it out via ThrillShare. So it was available in that and to the staff through email. So a lot of parents I did just hear say, I didn't answer because I trust what you guys do. So
it might be interesting to send it out after June 2nd. They might change. It might change a few votes at that point in time, but
so essentially the big piece of the plan was to start with this and then move forward and address all of those micro issues. And one of the kind of most pressing ones, obviously, is trial run, training for staff, training for students. And we definitely talked about implementing that, doing a trial run in the building with the kids after the staff had been trained as well. And I think a lot of the feedback from that was any of the people that came back with unsure of supporting, that was a lot of what they said. You know, they just want clear expectations. They want to know what they're supposed to be doing, how the kids are going to access, and so on. And so the unsure category up here for that, a lot of that feedback, because one of the questions afterwards was, if you were unsure, what would need to be in place for you to feel comfortable? And a lot of that was, hey, we just need to know what's going on. We need to have that clear communication, which I think we're very good at. So that would be something that we would address for sure and do a trial run with the students to make sure everybody knows what they're supposed to be doing and what the expectations are.
A couple of the responses were that we brought our kids to Hamilton because they don't do synchronous learning. And then I saw that one parent said, if we do synchronous learning, they will bring their other child here. So I don't know how you win at it. I mean, so it was interesting, though, to hear the comments. I think some of the no's were definitely big no's, and some of the yeses were definitely big yeses. But the biggest thing was grandma and grandpa is having to do it during the day when parents are working. And I certainly can sympathize with that. They said, could we be flexible where they could come home and do it like at 6 o'clock when the parents are home from work? And some parents commented that they didn't want to be the teachers. That's what we hire our staff to do. So it's a catch-22. It's not an easy thing for us to solve.
On a normal year, though, not this year notwithstanding, it's going to make very little difference. Really, we would use it very seldomly, I think. So.
Also, to address that flexible timeline, and I would have to talk to Kelly too to see, you know, what the techie stuff, the bandwidth, and the memory that we have with our Google accounts and so on. But I think to address that, we would record the lessons and have them available for students later on in the day.
So there isn't a decision that has to be made tonight. We'll continue to research this. If any of you have comments one way or the other, please let one of us know. But no decision's going to be made tonight as we move forward with this. Okay. My report is rather brief tonight. The health inspector came in unannounced yesterday, or last Friday, I should say, and got a perfect result. So congratulations to Sherry Caricio / what's her other name now? Thank you. I can't keep track. My only other thing was Brian Miller was absolutely surprised at naming the track and field after him at our track meet last Saturday, was it? Yeah, a week ago Saturday. And that went very well. And thanks to Lori Zimmerman for all of her planning and getting that together, as well as Mr. Prokop. So the sign is hanging underneath the scoreboard. It looks great. New scoreboard's up as well. So you can stop by and take a peek at that as well. So that's my report.
Okay, I was out taking pictures, so I wanted to welcome our new hires, Emily Long, Madison Bellinger, and Jana Schlosser. I'm very excited about the three of them. We actually had 8 candidates apply for this position, and as a team, we all decided that the 3 of them would be the best fit. So we're looking forward to them joining our Hamilton family. We had pre-K and kindergarten registration a few weeks ago. Our morning and afternoon pre-K is full, and there is a wait list to get into both the morning and afternoon class. Our kindergarten incoming class, as of today, we have 37 students enrolled. And with 3 months, bless you, before school starts, that's the highest number that we have seen in the 11, 12 years that I've been here. So that's exciting as well.
Can you comment on why we hired the 3 teachers, why we're talking about 37 kindergartners?
Yes, I can.
And the public knows?
Yeah, so last year at this time we had 24, and by the end, before school started, we had over 40. So we are anticipating lowballing an extra, getting to 45. And I think we might get even more than that, but we would love to have between 15 and 18 students in each classroom. And that's what we're anticipating moving forward.
So as a result, for those of you listening at home, we will have 3 kindergarten sections next year.
Yes, so thank you.
We
Yes.
will continue to have low class sizes.
Right.
Just out of curiosity on the net out on that,
Mhm.
how many are in the graduating classes here? We know? Do you know how many?
29?
28 or
No,
29.
exiting the seniors.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So 29 going out and
Mhm.
probably, I know just the years I've been involved, it always seems like whatever gets signed up, you have about 30% more,
Yeah.
don't we? Like almost every time. So
Yep.
yeah, do the math on that. We probably should be. So we'll probably have a net gain of 29 going out to 50 coming in. So
Mhm.
20 net gain right there. Nice.
Yeah.
It looks good.
Yep, very exciting. I wanted to thank Mr. Howard. He worked really hard to get our students involved in the Steuben County Art Show this year. So they participated, they did a lot of work and actually placed in several categories. And Mr. Howard stated that Hamilton had the highest number of students attend the art show. So kudos to him for all of his hard work getting ready, and to the students. They did a fabulous job. Sherry Curcio started her youth volleyball league 2 weeks ago, I believe, and she has 35 mini marine volleyball players that are out there every Wednesday practicing. And yeah, so, and the older kids have been staying there with the younger kids to help them. So been pretty cool. We had prom this past weekend, and Mrs. Willozin said that was the highest number of students that she's seen attend prom. They had so much fun. They did Grand March, and then prom, and then after prom, and I was surprised the amount of students that attended all of the events. So that was very cool to see.
But by chance, did you ride the mechanical bull, Mrs.
I didn't,
Watson?
and I will tell you, there's many students that I was going to, and I was going to make Mrs. Furness ride the
I
bull.
could see
Well,
Mrs. Furness riding it.
Yeah, but there were kids covered in bruises, and they just thought it was a ball. And I thought I could see me going head first off this thing, and then ending up in a net cast or something. So, I Learn begins tomorrow. So we have our 3rd through 9th grade students starting I Learn. They are ready to go. We did our Willie Watkins Wheel of Fun pump up session today, so they're very excited about that. For our golden tickets, we'll talk about that next month. And we had, sorry, there's a lot of things here. We had, Mrs. Leitzel had a high ability family night at her church a few weeks, was that right, before spring break? And that was super fun. The kids really love Mrs. Leitzel and are going to miss her a lot. She's always doing fun things with them. And the last thing, you're good. The last thing I wanted to share is our new flyer that will be coming out within the next 2 weeks here. We're hoping they should be in the mail by May 5th-ish, I'm thinking. So I wanted to. Or before. Maybe before that. Maybe by next Friday, possibly. So I wanted to share what this looks like so everyone has a opportunity to take a peek. You can enroll for new students, current students, and all of the awesome things we have to offer will be coming in the mail shortly.
Mrs. Watkins, do you want to talk to the board about teaching assignments for next year, or you want to wait? Okay.
So as you guys look at that, on the back in the top right corner, there's a big, that's for the mailing. So that's open. Also at the bottom, it's kind of cut off there, but again, they're going to be printing on high quality card stock, so it'll go to the edge and it won't be ours. But if you notice that, yes.
Well, they.
You will see that Archie took prime spot on the backside. And Mrs. Taylor asked to be excused tonight, Scott, because of a ball game, and I said probably that's okay. So she's not here.
Aren't you ladies glad we're not working around my softball schedule all season this year? It seemed like every single meeting we had to move something. So thanks for being patient last year, but this year we don't have it. Unless it's junior high golf. So, Mrs. Furness, did you have anything, or did Mrs. Watkins cover it all?
Yeah, we consolidated our list,
All
so
right.
we got
Beautiful.
it.
Anything from board?
I won't take long. This isn't, I guess, necessarily a school board member thing, but in the past we've had like a broadcasting studio and like the TV kids could do TV class or whatever. And being in the Department of Humanities and Communication, a lot of the students we have coming in actually have high school experience doing some level of communication or broadcasting. Learning things like video and audio, and it really sets them apart from others. And our department's growing like crazy. With all that being said, we are continuously purchasing new equipment, and we wondered if you would have a need for some camcorders. They're just the handheld. They're not like super up to date, but it could be a fun learning experience. The kids love them too because they're like vintage now, which makes us all feel really old, I'm sure. But there are like 10 or 12 if that we would like to donate to the school if you would have a use for them.
That sounds so, I love that idea.
Okay,
That would be great if you guys are okay with it.
perfect.
The kids would have a ball with that.
Yes, they would. But also, it's a thing to consider. I don't know if we have the space and curriculum to offer anything like that, but I think
It's or computer science, Mrs. Watkins just said too. I'm sure we could find something. There is options what you're discussing being explored and looked at. Because I agree with you. I think it would be a really cool experience for the kids that are interested in broadcasting communication and even newspaper, yearbook, things like that. So yeah, that'd be great.
Thanks, guys.
Yeah, I was going to comment that Impact used to offer and did this year a multimedia, but there was only 9 kids that signed up across all the corporations, Brandy. So we eliminated the program for next year. Yeah. Yeah.
I had something too. It might be a little longer than hers. I kind of want to thank the administration for giving me an opportunity the last couple of years. About a year and a half ago, I think it's when the daycare was moving in and Lori Nash was getting moved upstairs. That room was half full of Scholastic leveled books, old reading series, things that we were no longer using. And they were going to be getting rid of them. And I said, could I have them? I was given the opportunity. So we moved them out. Luckily, my mom has a big room in her house, and we spread the books out, sorted them, all that. And other than the course, I had to take some to read myself. So did my mom. We opened it up to friends, family, whatever. But some of them, I just wanted to let you know where they ended up going. A year ago, some homeschooling families took some. The Angola Head Start teacher came out and asked for some. Through my sister Lori, who lives in Lansing, they know a man who is in charge, whatever. It's a charter school, but very low income, very low financing. And they took the vast majority of the Scholastic leveled books. We're thrilled to get them because they just did not have that. And also, we used to have a special ed teacher here, Joan Riley, whose son is a missionary in Liberia, or had been, and they packed up several barrels of books that got sent to Liberia. So this year, since Bill sees me scouring the book racks after every board meeting, he contacted me in the middle of the winter and said, hey, would you like books again? So, of course, took them. And this year, we did post on Facebook that we had books, and we had people stopping by. One woman ended up coming 3 times. She is on the board of Friends of Pokagon, I think. An Angola high school group has started one of their high school clubs has started a library at Pokagon. And like I said, she came back 3 times and packed up boxes and boxes and just kept thanking us and apologizing for taking them. And we're like, no, we will help you carry them to your car. Please, please, And then through one of my cousins, who actually works here in the base program, Terry, some of the books went to Inspiration Ministries, which is based out of Butler. And then there's a free store called Door of Hope that's out on 20 between Angola and LaGrange. And they are taking some. And then compliments of Brandy. The last of them are going to the Trine book giveaway that they have in October. So again, I just appreciate being the opportunity to take those books rather than having them just thrown away. And they are going to people who vastly appreciate having them. Thank you.
And we thank you, Julie, for doing that because
Also for
Go ahead.
book night donation, and especially because you sorted and organized all of them. Because, I mean, we get between probably 4,000 and 7,000 books every year, and majority of them are not sorted. So we have volunteers and writing center tutors and students in event planning class sorting books.
Kristen
for
wouldn't believe
weeks.
this from the way my classroom looked most of the time. But deep down, I am a very organized person. And so is my mom. And I mean, we just, like I said, spread them out by levels, by genres, and
Yeah,
label
that
them.
was
So
amazing.
I was just so glad that you could take them. And I plan on coming to your book thing in
Okay,
October.
good.
it's awesome to have a good home for those books. And thank you, Julie.
Well, that was great. That's great news. Anybody else got anything? I guess with that, we just need a motion to adjourn.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
I'll second that.
Motion's made and second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. And we're adjourned.